Let's get chatting with Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, who's the Executive Chairperson of Biocon. Kiran, always a pleasure to welcome you on NDTV Profit. Now, as we wind down on this particular year, Kiran, this has been a remarkable year with many, many milestones that have been achieved, which have been in the works for many years for you personally and your ambition in the company Biocon. So first of all, I would like to ask you, with this merger, biologics, Biocon as a combined force, what it means for you in the journey for the company.
So thanks, Nisha, and let me start by wishing you a very, very happy 2026 ahead.
Thank you. Same to
And
you.
and let me start by saying, yes, this has been a very, very eventful year for us. And I think the recent announcement that we made of the intended merger between BBL and Biocon is indeed a big announcement, because I believe that this actually unlocks and creates the value that we have been witnessing in terms of our biosimilars business, and as well as the GLP-1 opportunity ahead. And we felt that by combining the two businesses, actually we would unlock a lot of shareholder value for Biocon as a conglomerate. And we believe that this creates a bigger company, a much more diversified entity, and a simpler and elegant model, which actually then helps us to focus on, really leveraging the opportunity that we have of being uniquely positioned to combine both insulins and GLP-1s, the insulin biosimilars and the generic GLP-1s. So I think this is a big, opportunity for us now to drive big value, and I think this benefits all stakeholders.
That's right, and it's a big, big development. And from next year onwards, the stakeholders, shareholders in the company will start seeing the benefit of the combined force. And Kiran, I know for sure that it has been in the works for several years, putting all the pieces together. Now, before we go to much larger conversation and big picture outlook for 2026, I wanted to ask you about one news development, which is about securing the global manufacturing and commercial rights for Hulio. What does this mean, and how will it benefit the company?
Well, Hulio was an asset where we had basically a transfer pricing,
Yes.
profit sharing arrangement, etc. And I think once we basically got the whole business, as we have just discussed, we believed that it was important for the biosimilars business to be actually capturing the entire value. So I think from that point of view, we believe this is a big deal, and it now brings the asset under our full control. We believe we can get higher margins by doing this, and we also believe that we will be able to unlock significant growth opportunities, having this advantage in terms of both cost efficiency and the kind of opportunities that we have ahead in terms of adalimumab.
Right. So this is also going to, it's a much larger play in what you had a commercial tie-up with. So that's really extending the benefits that could come out of it. But Kiran, as you look back on 2025, of course, many milestones for the company itself. But as a leader, industry leader in the healthcare space, how do you see this particular year for the entire sector? And what were the key highlights that came across for you?
So, Nisha, to me, the biggest highlight was the announcement of ANRF. I think this has been a very important step taken by the government to basically focus on IP-driven economic growth through research and innovation. And I think this is really going to help us all big time in every sector, especially even in the pharmaceutical sector. Added to this, of course, is the RDI, which of course helps the pharma sector particularly, because I think a lot of companies are beginning to invest in research and innovation that will drive even greater value. As you know, up until now, we've been really focusing on biosimilars and generics, which of course are very important growth drivers for the pharma sector. But going ahead, can we actually focus on innovative drugs and create even greater value is the opportunity we are looking at. In addition to that, I think we are also seeing the emergence of affordable innovation across the world. And I think India can lead in that. Even in cell and gene therapy, which is such a big challenge for the world to access, I think India has taken the lead in delivering affordable access to even, CAR T therapies and gene therapies, hopefully in the future. I think there's also a very strong focus on ADCs and RNA technologies and synthetic biology. So, a very, very interesting 2025 where companies have really focused on these emerging areas. ANRF is going to focus on critical technologies. And I think this is going to augur well for the entire sector and especially for companies like Biocon that has always believed in a research driven approach and an innovation driven approach to its business.
That's right. In fact, Kiran, it's been several years that we have been chatting about how India can make that shift from generic leadership to innovation leadership. For the next year, that is a much shorter time period, how do you see this developing and the key aspects that you're watching out for in 2026?
So apart from what I've just mentioned, Nisha, because you know that it's going to take time for innovation to really deliver. So as long as we start that journey, I think there's a big opportunity ahead. But I think what is even more important is for us to notice what has happened at the macro level. One is, of course, the Biosecure Act, which is going to really open up a bigger opportunity in CRDMO. And this is something which India must double down on, which it already has in many ways, but it must get a much more significant market share. And I think here the whole focus on biomanufacturing is going to help us a lot. The Bio E3 policy focuses on biomanufacturing. And I think whilst Biocon has been the front leader in this, I think other companies also ought to then now focus on investing in biomanufacturing at global scale. As you know, and this of course opens up a much bigger opportunity for India as a whole. And then, as I mentioned, affordability is the theme for the global pharma ecosystem. And you know that President Trump himself is very focused on affordable access to drugs and pharmaceuticals in general. And I think this is also playing to our strength because I think here the MFN condition that he's levying to most of the big pharma is actually an advantage to us. And I think we are now going to stop seeing cross subsidizing of pharmaceutical products in various markets. And this actually then opens up an even bigger opportunity for companies like Biocon.
Right. So, Kiran, I know that how well connected you are in the global scientific world when it comes to healthcare space, and all those points that you mentioned, I'm sure, is something that is the view globally that is really emerging. But when you look at Biocon going forward, how is the positioning of Biocon that you would like to see in the world? Of course, your push towards innovation in the last few years has also been very, very critical.
So, Nisha, first and foremost, I'm very proud of the fact that Biocon has already attained leadership in biosimilars amongst the top 5 biosimilar companies globally, and the only one out of India to really gain that kind of recognition. We have a very strong pipeline of products. We are also going to be the only company with biosimilar interchangeable insulins in combination with generic, GLP-1s, which again positions us very uniquely. In addition to that, we have a very large and growing pipeline of biosimilars and specialty generics as well. We are very strong, apart from the diabesity space, as we call it, in oncology and immunology. Again, Biocon's generic business plays to this strength because we have very strong generic oncology products and we have a very strong presence in immunosuppressants, which adds to the immunology aspect. So it's going to be a very exciting year ahead and, of course, time ahead for Biocon as a company as it merges into a single entity. And we will have a very simple, elegant structure of products and services through Syngene, and of course products through the biosimilars and generics, which really makes us a very unique Indian company with this kind of spread of products. So I'm very excited with what is happening to our business and how we've shaped our business and the opportunities ahead.
You mentioned GLP now with liraglutide also launched in Europe as well as India. How's Biocon positioned in the global GLP-1 race, Kiran?
Obviously, everyone's, eyeing this very lucrative pie where,
Yes.
semaglutide is going to go off patent in many markets, including Canada. In addition to that, of course, Biocon, we believe, have got a competitive advantage because of our global scale in the insulins business, because GLP-1s is not just about a product play like any other product. It is about a device play. It is about at scale drug product and drug substance capability. And you just heard that the oral GLP-1 of semaglutide, which is the Rybelsus, has just got approved in the US. And this actually needs recombinant DNA capacity to make it at such large scale, which Biocon has. So I think this puts us into a very strong situation because we will have end-to-end capabilities when it comes to GLP-1s. Of course, it's a very fungible space when it comes to insulins because we've already created global scale manufacturing, whether it's drug substance or drug products. And peptides, whether they're insulins or GLP-1s, are very fungible. So I think it's going to give us an added advantage, and that's why we believe we are uniquely placed.
So you're uniquely placed for GLP-1, but how meaningful will this be in a near term of say 3 to 5 years, Kiran, as compared to biosimilars, your GLP-1 push?
Well, GLP-1s is a big opportunity. It's a
Yes.
huge opportunity because, you haven't even sized the whole market as yet, for the simple reason that GLP-1s right now is has not been fully explored and leveraged in emerging markets because the GLP-1 companies were really focused on the advanced markets. So this is going to add to the growing opportunity of GLP-1s. And I think companies are all focused on that. Of course, the real opportunities in advanced markets open up only in 2030 onwards when semaglutide goes off patent. But in the interim, of course, there's a very large opportunity in emerging markets, especially Canada. Everyone's eyeing that opportunity. Of course, Biocon wants to play a good role and a front running role in that.
Yes.
And we believe that because of what I just mentioned, we do have that opportunity to play a very significant role.
All right.
But I must say that this is going to be a big opportunity for everyone who wants to play in it, but they've got to have global scale to be competitive, which we believe we have at Biocon.
All right, so you have that global scale. Before we let you go, Kiran, a few of housekeeping questions about Biocon. After the 4,500 crore rupees of QIP, do you think now this equity dilution for now is sufficient? How long is it going to last, and what's your comfortable debt EBITDA levels that you are looking at post the integration?
So, Nisha, first and foremost, we are having this QIP really to address the part cash, part stock deal that we have entered into with Viatris. And once we are post that, I think we are in a very healthy position because as a company, we will be, below the 2.5 debt to EBITDA ratio. And we believe going ahead, it will even go below 2 because of the kind of business that is growing and the kind of EBITDAs that we're generating. So organically itself, we'll be able to reduce the debt EBITDA ratio to a very comfortable level. And I think going forward, you will see this business growing stronger and stronger. And combining the businesses has actually helped us to deliver a very strong balance sheet. So I just think that we've done everything that needs to be done to put this business back on a very sound track, in a very healthy way, on a very strong financial footing.
So Kiran, your excitement about the next year, about the business of Biocon is really infectious, and that's really great to hear as we wind down on 2025. Thank you so much for joining us right here on NDTV Profit. Have a great new year, and we will connect with you in 2026. Thank you so much, Kiran.
Thank you, Nisha.